On our broadcast tonight, our FP1 and FP2 report what's going on down in Portugal. Atlanta Motor Speedway will be opening its grandstands to full capacity for their July NASCAR weekend, and our weekend preview for Kansas Speedway, where big names are still looking for their first Cup win in 2021. Good evening. Valtteri Bottas and Max Verstappen traded places at the top of the charts throughout FP1, but it was Bottas who ended up narrowly fastest in the first session of the 2021 Portuguese Grand Prix. Bottas equipped his W12 with soft tires with 20 minutes remaining and set the benchmark time, improving to an eventual fastest lap of 1 minute 19.648 seconds. Verstappen, who arrived at Portimao with an upgraded RB16B car, developed a flat spot on his tire late in the session and said his car was impossible to drive thanks to the vibrations. Despite that, the Dutchman finished just 0.025 seconds off Bottas on soft tires. Lewis Hamilton finished fifth, 0.3 down by the checkered flag on the same C3 soft compounds. The reigning champion was beaten by Ferrari's Charles Leclerc in P4 by under a tenth of a second. That left Red Bull's Sergio Perez, who ran an aero rake early in the session, possibly testing the team's new parts, in third place, 0.198 seconds off of Bottas's pace. AlphaTauri's Pierre Gasly finished sixth, and Saturday star George Russell finished a surprise seventh for Williams on Friday, beating eighth place Ferrari driver Carlos Sainz to the position. It meant McLaren's Imola podium sitter Lando Norris finished ninth, closely followed by Alpine's Esteban Ocon, who rounded out the top 10. Aston Martin's Lance Stroll was next up in 11th, just ahead of 12th placed Daniel Ricciardo of McLaren. Stroll's teammate Sebastian Vettel finished 16th, his session blotted only by a brief stop in McLaren's pit stop halfway through. Fernando Alonso was the only driver to begin the session on softs, rivals waiting for the 30-minute mark to do so. And Alpine's two-time champion unusually set his fastest lap on hard tires to go 14th overall behind AlphaTauri's rookie Yuki Tsunoda. 2020 Formula 2 Championship runner-up Callum Ilott replaced Antonio Giovinazzi at Alfa Romeo for FP1. Ilott, who is now Alfa Romeo's official reserve driver, finished 17th in his FP1 debut. Kimi Räikkönen in the other Alfa Romeo was just 0.4 faster and finished 15th, the two split by Sebastian Vettel. While Williams' Russell was up in 17th, his teammate Nicholas Latifi was 19th overall. He split the two Haas drivers, with Mick Schumacher in 18th and Nikita Mazepin 2.3 seconds slower than his teammate to round out the standings in 20th. Atlanta Motor Speedway is opening its grandstands to full capacity for the July 10th through 11th Quaker State 400 presented by Walmart NASCAR Weekend. NASCAR's first July race at AMS in 47 years will also be the first race at AMS to host an expansive grandstand audience since the start of the pandemic. As AMS opens its gates to a larger crowd, the facility will continue utilizing health and safety protocols for fans attending the event, such as expanded access to hand washing and hand sanitizing stations, as well as cashless payments, mobile ticketing, and the clear bag policy to limit contact between fans and staff. In addition, AMS will follow state and local health recommendations when determined for July regarding mask and social distancing protocols. The NASCAR Cup Series and the NASCAR Xfinity Series will each compete on the Atlanta Motor Speedway's high banks for the second time in 2021 during the July weekend. The rising stars of the NASCAR Xfinity Series race on Saturday, July 10th in the Georgia 250, and stars like Georgia's own Chase Elliott, Kevin Harvick, Bubba Wallace, and March winner Ryan Blaney will race for glory in the Quaker State 400 presented by Walmart on Sunday, July 11th. The Lewis Hamilton-Max Verstappen battle looks poised to define the 2021 season, and it was that pair who found themselves at the top of the times after free practice 2 for the Portuguese Grand Prix. Hamilton heading Verstappen by 0.143 seconds to complete a clean sweep of Friday practice sessions for Mercedes. At a gusty Portimao track with winds of up to 30 kilometers an hour recorded around the circuit, and after a 10-minute delay to the session start, Hamilton ended up with a 1 minute 19.837 second fastest lap, nearly 0.2 down on teammate Valtteri Bottas' fastest time from his morning's free practice 1. Hamilton having finished that session in an underwhelming P5. Verstappen slotted into second, overcoming a break-by-wire scare to finish in the same position as he did in FP1, Red Bull and Mercedes looking closely matched at this stage of the weekend. Bottas found himself third, a scrappy lap, leaving him 0.344 seconds off his teammate, while Carlos Sainz confirmed that Ferrari are at the races this weekend by taking P4, 0.016 seconds off Bottas. Without doubt, the most impressive team performance came from Alpine, who it's fair to say came from nowhere to take P5 and P6, their pace seeming genuine too, as Fernando Alonso in fifth finished just 0.015 seconds ahead of Esteban Ocon. Charles Leclerc found himself outgunned by teammate Sainz as he took P7. Meanwhile, it was an encouraging performance from McLaren's Daniel Ricciardo, who went 8th fastest as teammate Lando Norris could only manage P2. Although McLaren are seemingly off the pace so far this weekend, with work for their engineers to do overnight. Lance Stroll was P9 for Aston Martin, comfortably outpacing teammate Sebastian Vettel, who could do no better than P15 as he continues to try and put the puzzle together with the AMR 21, as he put it on Thursday, as Red Bull's Sergio Perez finished a disappointing P10. The Mexican blocked on one of his quick laps by the Haas of Nikita Mazepin. Having finished 6th in FP1, Pierre Gasly could only take 11th in FP2 as the fastest AlphaTauri driver, the first time a Frenchman had finished outside the top 10 in a practice session this year. Ahead of Norris and Williams is George Russell, the Briton unable to match his P7 heroics from this morning as he claimed P13. Gasly's teammate Yuki Tsunoda was 14th ahead of Vettel and the Alfa Romeo of Kimi Raikkonen in P16, while Raikkonen's teammate Antonio Giovinazzi was P17 in his first session of the day. The same position Alfa Romeo reserve driver Callum Ilott finished this morning when he took over the Italian's car. Rounding out the field was the same bottom three as in FP1, Mick Schumacher overcoming a power unit worry to take P18 for Haas, while Nicholas Latifi endured a trip into the Turney gravel before taking 19th, as Mazepin finished over a second off his teammate in P20. So it was a Mercedes clean sweep on Friday, but can the Silver Hours maintain that advantage over Red Bull into Saturday's qualifying? Tune in to your live coverage at 1500 local time as Lewis Hamilton goes in search of an incredible 100th pole position. Brad Keselowski added his name to the impressively long and varied list of 2021 winners with a victory at Talladega Superspeedway last weekend. There have been 9 winners through the opening 10 races headed into Sunday's Bushy McBush Race 400, 3 p.m. Eastern on FS1, MRN, and SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, but notably absent on that list of victors are 2 of Kansas Speedway's best, Denny Hamlin and Kevin Harvick. Hamlin, who has 8 top 5 finishes in the opening 10 races, is a 3-time Kansas winner and defending race winner. In 25 starts at Kansas, the driver of the number 11 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota has 8 top 5 and 9 top 10 finishes, and he has victories in 2 of the last 3 Kansas races dating back to the 2019 playoff stretch. Harvick also has plenty of reason to feel especially optimistic about the Kansas 1.5 miler. He is the statistical top mark among current drivers. His 3 wins, 10 top 5s, and 17 top 10s are most among active drivers, and his 109.7 driver rating is tops in the field as well. His last win at Kansas was in 2018. The driver of the number 4 Stewart-Haas Racing Ford has 3 top 5 and 7 top 10 runs in the 10 races to date this season, but this is only the second time since 2012 he hasn't celebrated in victory lane already by race number 10. He has a pair of top 10 finishes in his last 4 races and 2 top 10s at the 3 1.5-mile tracks so far this year. 2 other drivers certainly worth watching this week in particular include reigning NASCAR Cup Series champion Chase Elliott and 2-time Series champ Kyle Busch, both still looking for their first victory this season as well. Elliott, the driver of the number 9 Hendrick Motorsport Chevrolet, has only 4 top 10 finishes this season, none on the 1.5-mile tracks such as Kansas Speedway, and he's only led 3 laps in the last 6 races of the season. His work at Kansas should make him optimistic, however. He won the 2018 playoff race at Kansas and has 6 top 10 finishes in 10 starts. He's finished 6th or better in 4 of the last 5 races there. Busch, driver of the number 18 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota, is still looking for his first win with new crew chief Ben Beshore, who took that position this season. Busch has a pair of top 5 and 5 top 10 finishes in 2021, but has only led 14 laps on the season. He has scored top 5 finishes in all 3 of the previous 1.5-mile races, however, including a season best of 3rd at the Las Vegas Mile and a Half last month. Busch has earned 10 of his career 12 top 10 finishes at Kansas in the last 12 races there, including a win in 2016. He was 5th in his last start at the track last October. It's worth noting that Sunday's race marks the 700th career NASCAR Cup Series start for veteran Ryan Newman. The Roush Fenway Racing driver joins Kurt Busch at 730 and Kevin Harvick at 728 as the only active drivers with at least 700 starts. Newman, who has 18 career wins and whose 51 pole positions is most among active drivers, noted the upcoming milestone with his typical humor. And it should also be noted that the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series resumes competition this Saturday night after a week off with the Wise Power 200 at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time under the lights at Kansas Speedway on FS1, MRN, and SiriusXM NASCAR Radio. NASCAR's Race Team Alliance has ordered a study from Nielsen on the potential value to sponsors of moving the car number decals, according to sources. Now, sources said that the teams have paid Nielsen to examine how much more value sponsors would get if the decals were moved from the center of the door. It is expected that the RTA will share the results of the study with NASCAR. It is unclear if NASCAR has undertaken any of its own research on the decal placement, but the RTA ordering the study suggests that it is the side most interested in a potential change. Some teams think that moving the decal to get sponsors more media exposure could help their efforts to sell and retain deals. Sources said that no final decision on whether to move it or to where has yet been made, but one is expected by early summer. Seth Smith will serve as crew chief for the number 15 Ford Performance F-150 this weekend. A veteran in the ARCA ranks, Smith has called the shots for 9 truck races in his career, including the first 3 truck races of Tanner Gray's career in 2019. This season, he has worked primarily on the number 17 entry with David Gilliland, Riley Herbst, Kevin Harvick, and Bill Lester. Over the last 3 seasons, Austin Hill has been a frontrunner in the Camping World Truck Series, competing for Hattori Racing Enterprises. But like 2019 and 2020, expect to see the Georgia native in select events for the Xfinity Series at some point this year. Ahead of this weekend's truck race at Kansas Speedway, Hill spent time with the media via a Zoom call. On the call, he confirmed he will run in Xfinity at some point this season, likely with HRE, though isn't sure of when and where. Since 2019, Hill has competed in 10 Xfinity races. Last October at Kansas, he earned his top 5 finish, adding a 9th place result at Darlington Raceway earlier in the year. In his series debut at Indianapolis Motor Speedway 2 years ago, he finished 9th. Shigeki Hattori, owner of HRE, is the listed owner of the number 61 car in Xfinity this season. However, the team has a working relationship with MDM Motorsports, owned by Carl Long. The number 61 car has had Chad Fincham, David Starr, Robbie Lyons, and Stephen Leicht all compete in it this season. Through 6 truck races this season, Hill sits 4th in the championship standings, earning a best finish of 2nd at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Roper Racing announced on Thursday that Trickshot has joined Chase Briscoe on board the number 04 for this weekend's race at Kansas Speedway as primary sponsor. Trickshot is a high-performance penetrating lubricant that unlocks seized parts, prevents and breaks rust loose, fights corrosion, lubricates, protects, cleans, and is a green product. It is 100% biodegradable, non-toxic, non-flammable, and safe for the environment. And that is MDM Racing News tonight on this Friday, April 30th, 2021, the last day of April. Tomorrow it will be May. Happy May, everybody. Hope you had a great April. Hope you had a great Friday, and have a great weekend. I'm Matthew Merlino for the MDM YouTube channel in Montvale. Good night.